your American dream?
So I don't necessarily believe in American dream as we're used to seeing it. Just personal wishes. I'd like to see more socioeconomic equality and sustainability be put more as a priority in our society and legislation.
Groundhog Sam!
It's your girl, Star Girl, Mika. Big up yourself. I'm here at Spar and Bernstein. They got me my green card, y'all. I'm here with the squad. Excited. We're celebrating.
Tamika! Star Girl Tamika is here at Spar and Bernstein. Oh my gosh, Tamika! Get to meet you in person. This is incredible. Congratulations on getting your green card.
Thank you, Groundhog Sam.
I just got a kiss from Star Girl. My whole year is made. Hey, Tamika, you want to go get a pretzel with me outside?
Oh, sure.
One of those yummy New York pretzels?
Yeah, we can do that. Since I'm from Florida, but you're paying.
Usually I pay people in pretzels, so I'm not sure how that will work, but we'll figure it out. Come on.
Let's
I'm going to treat you to a New York City pretzel.
Off we go.
Yeah.
Bye, squad. I'm going to go have a New York pretzels on Groundhog Sam.
Yep. My treat. Ha 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 ha. Brad's treat. Ha 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 ha. Ha 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 ha.
Well, I'm back. It's been a long time, and we've made a few changes on our show. As you can see, it's a little more casual. I'm a little more casual, doing it from my home right now. I'm going to be flying solo for a little bit here on BradShowLive. I missed our entire Brad squad, so I'm excited to say hello to everybody again. It's been a very long time. I've had some medical issues that I had to deal with, so I wasn't able to come and do a live show on a regular basis. Hopefully, that's all behind me now, and I'll be able to come back and be with the squad and hang out with you guys and help you with your legal issues as best as I can. But right now, let's say hello to the squad on Facebook. Willie L. Williams. Haven't said that name in a while. Thinking about the name, but haven't said it in a while. Squad up, Maureen McFarland. Also thinking about Maureen, although I haven't said it. Squad up, Maureen. It's Apple Pie. Squad up. William Patrick Kamga saying, hello, squad. Welcome back. Miss you so much. Thank you very much. Asila Stone. How you doing? Hey, squad. Welcome back. Noni Gayton. Can we call? Yes, you can. There's a number scrolling at the bottom of the screen. 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-LAW-LINK. You can call that number right now to get on our show. I will answer your immigration questions as best as I can. It is also the telephone number to my law office. So you can call also to make a consultation if that's what you would like to do. Well, yes, it was a long break, Alyssa Stone. Who else we have here? Paulette Bryce Cameron. Wow, Brad. Yo-Yo's not here. He's here in spirit. But welcome back. I miss watching you. Thank you very much. Nadia Lewis Wallace. She's going to come back. I think she wants to say welcome back, but maybe she took a trip to the kitchen and coming back soon. Maureen, hoping you're feeling much better. I am. Thank you very much. Joe Kamani saying squad up. Welcome back. Josephine Latham, squad up. Marcia McCullough saying good evening. I'm sure as we get to do the show more, I did a few shows in December, and before that, we didn't do a show since July. So I think we've done like 3 or 4 shows random days over the last 6, 7, 8 months. So hopefully we're going to be able to come and do more shows. And as we do, we're going to see more and more squad hear about us and come back, and we will be more than happy to answer everybody's questions. Westman on YouTube, squad up. Deco Noor saying hi from Djibouti. How you doing? Earth Angel, squad up. how are you? Melinda Moser saying awesome. Simone Garraway saying, hey, family. Lola So Bless, Squad Up Zinzin, saying, hey, Uncle Brad, how you doing? Demba South saying, hello, Brad. I want you to know I have been off the air for a while. Just the other day, I was walking down the street. A guy literally jumped out of the car right on Church Avenue here in downtown Manhattan. As I was walking down the street, I thought he was going to cook an accident. He just ran out. Uncle Brad, I listen to you all the time. When are you coming back? So I don't know who that was. And I hope he's driving safe now. But I'm back now. True story. Nenny Isaacs with a pre-schmooze question. Is a grant for online courses at school considered a public charge? Only if the grant is given because you fall below the poverty level and it's given by the U.S. government, which I doubt. A grant given by a school is usually a scholarship, so it's extraordinarily unlikely it is a public charge, but I would need to know a lot more about the grant. Demba Sow, I didn't know. I can't get the notifications from Facebook. It's 6 months. I thought there's no more BradShowLive. We were down for the count, but weren't out. Dayan Wilson saying squad up and running. And Leslie Calamito also with a pre-schmooze question of the day. I'll do 2 or 3 maybe. Hi, my husband was arrested with domestic violence because of an argument we had. They didn't have evidence and they, I guess, rejected the case, which I guess they mean throughout the case. And the case was sealed. And now we're filing his I-751. Will he have a problem? No, he will not, because he doesn't have a criminal record. And if immigration is going to know about it anyway, even though it's sealed, they will know about it. But guess what a domestic violence does for a case? It's sad to say, because you don't want to have anybody arrested for domestic violence. It's not going to cause him a problem getting his 10-year green card because he doesn't have a criminal conviction. And in the domestic violence report, there's a record that the police came to the home and there was a husband and wife arguing, and that was you and your husband. And the only thing you got to prove to get the I-751 approved is that you and your spouse are living together. So what better evidence that you and your spouse are living together is the police came and saw you arguing? That actually helps your case, if anything. Gold spoon up. All right, last pre-schmooze question of the day. We're going to get to them all in our social media check-in. The last schmooze question, pre-question. It's the last schmooze pre-question of the day. I got to make sure I say it right. Brad, can someone get married that is seeking asylum and the asylum is not approved yet? Absolutely, you can get married. And if you're asking, can you get married to get your green card? If you made a legal entry into the United States, of course, you can file your adjustment application. And at some point before your interview, withdraw the asylum case. Just want to remind everybody before we get into our pre-schmooze questions of the day, you can call Spar and Bernstein, 1-800-529-5465. That is the telephone number to call to not only get on our show, but it's also the telephone number to call to get all of your immigration questions answered by me in a consultation. So you want to speak to me one-on-one without everybody else around in more detail and in more everything you need to share with me and everything I need to share with you, you can call 1-800-529-5465 and schedule a consultation with me. Internationally, it's 212-227-8933. 212-227-8933. Now, coming up, I'm going to answer all your immigration questions. We're going to go to the lines very shortly. We have 9 people on hold right now. We're going to take 14 calls altogether. Usually when I start BradShowLive, within 2 minutes, the lines are locked and loaded. But I guess since we haven't been on in a while, it's going to take a little time for people to realize they can call the number scrolling at the bottom of your screen. But right now, let's schmooze with some immigration. So on January 5th, 2023, President Biden announced he's going to be expanding a program to legally accept up to 30,000 people from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela, and that's going to be every month. The program allows eligible people over the age of 18 or under 18, if you're accompanied by a parent from those eligible countries, to enter the United States legally on parole and ultimately apply for work permission and future advanced parole to travel back and forth to your home country and get a work permit. And this parole program is going to be valid for 2 years, but they're not going to have 30,000 people come from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, and Venezuela every month, and in 2 years tell them to go home. So it's going to absolutely be extended. Now, this program was also previously implemented for 100,000 Ukrainians last year fleeing the war in Ukraine. It's the same basic program. The Department of Homeland Security claims that this new parole program, the reason they did it for Cuba, Haiti, Venezuela, and Nicaragua, is going to be to provide a lawful and streamlined way for qualifying nationals from these countries, Cuba, Haiti, Venezuela, Nicaragua, obviously Ukraine last year, from entering the United States and coming even though they do not have entry documents. And it's better than trying your luck at the border or trying to cross the border illegally. Through a fully online process at uscis.gov, individuals can be considered on a case-by-case basis for advance authorization to travel to the United States and seek a temporary period of parole for up to 2 years, provided they, one, have a supporter in the United States who will provide financial and other support, two, that this supporter is a lawful resident of the United States or a United States citizen, three, this person who is applying for the parole undergoes transparent and robust security vetting, and this person meets other eligibility criteria and warrants a favorable exercise of discretion, which means that there is no skeletons in this person's closet who's coming on these parole programs. If you got skeletons in the closet, they're not going to let you in. What do I mean by skeletons? No criminal records, no fraud at the embassy, you weren't deported previously at the border, you previously didn't overstay on a visa, you're otherwise, not inadmissible to the United States. You're a good, decent, moral person. There's no skeletons in your closet that you got to be concerned about, and they'll let you in on parole. It's on a first-come, first-served basis. The Department of Homeland Security has already begun implementing this new process for Cubans, Haitians, Venezuelans, and Nicaraguans. Last year, of course, for Ukrainians as well. And people are already coming and have already entered the United States from all of these countries. Now, the Department of Homeland Security has warned individuals to complete the process electronically and that they should not approach the border to access this process, as they are going to be turned away at the border. This new process, parole process for Haitians, Cubans, Venezuelans, and Ukrainians, it's not new. As I said, it's the same process used for nationals of Ukraine and their immediate family members as part of the Uniting for Ukrainian program. So obviously, as the U.S. may open this up to other countries in the future, who knows? They already have the process in place. It's easy to do. Now, here is the process. United States-based citizen or lawful permanent resident should go online to www.uscis.gov and submit Form I-134A, which is the online request to be a supporter and a declaration of financial support on behalf of the named national from Cuba, Haiti, Nicaragua, Venezuela, or Ukraine, and their immediate family members. You do not need to be their relative. It can be done for a friend. It could even be done for an acquaintance. And you only submit one form for the same person or family. Now, if you've submitted a Form I-134A online before January 6, 2023 under Uniting for Ukraine or the process for Venezuelans, your case will continue to process. They have run out of visas for Ukraine for the year. It's 100,000 for Ukraine. They're fully done. They're starting to back up now for Venezuela, Haiti, Cuba, Nicaragua. So it's on first come, first served basis. You do not need to keep filing new ones. No further action is required. Just do one. It's in the system. You have a receipt. Just wait. Do not submit a second form. It's just going to screw up the case completely. And then the individual in the particular country, whether it's Haiti, Nicaragua, Venezuela, Cuba, Ukraine, or outside of Ukraine, because Ukrainians may be outside of the country if the country's at war, are going to be notified that they have been selected, and there's no interview at the U.S. Embassy. Now, access to this program is absolutely free. Neither the United States supporter nor the beneficiary is required to pay the United States government any filing fees for the Form I-134A. You do not have to pay the U.S. government for participation in this process. However, once the eligible parolee comes to the United States, there will be filing fees for a work permit. There will be filing fees for travel permission. And there may be filing fees if you try to obtain a green card later on after you have arrived. If you have more questions or need help with Haitian, Cuban, Nicaraguan, Venezuelan, or Ukrainian parole, call me. Set up a consultation. 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-LAW-LINK, 1-800-529-5465. Now, on February 7th, the Biden administration told the Supreme Court that it has the intent to let the coronavirus public health emergency expire on May 11th, in about 2 months from now. And therefore, it is now moot regarding the ongoing case in the Supreme Court over a Trump-era border protection. In a filing submitted to the High Court, Solicitor General Elizabeth Prelogar wrote, absent other relevant developments, the end of the public health emergency will, among other consequences, terminate the Title 42 orders and moot this case. Moreover, the government has also recently announced its intent to adopt new Title 8 policies to address the situation at the border once the Title 42 orders end. Now, this background, because that's a Title 42, blah, blah, blah. Let me give you a little background on all of this. The Trump administration invoked Title 42 at the border as a public health emergency that prevented anyone from applying for asylum because the United States government did not want anyone coming to the country with COVID. That's what Trump said. We don't want more COVID in the country. We're going to call a public health emergency. No one could apply for asylum. And it was obviously used to limit asylum at the border because many people traveled by plane to the United States every day, and there was no public emergency for COVID or people traveling by airplane through the airports. So obviously this whole Title 42 was a guise to prevent people from applying for asylum. And the only way people were able to ultimately apply for asylum was jump the fence, go through the wall, enter without inspection, and then apply for asylum. So the whole system is screwed up. So in place of preventing people from applying for asylum at the border because of COVID, the Biden administration is putting in a new rule that was announced on February 21st. All right, so they're ending the Proclamation 42, no more public health emergency. We're not going to prevent people from applying for asylum based on COVID. But now the new rule that they're putting into effect will deny asylum to anybody who shows up at the United States southern border without first seeking protection in a country they pass through. So this new rule means severe limitations on asylum for anyone fearing for their life back home, unless they're already a national of Mexico, because anybody who is not Mexican had to step foot in Mexico in order to get to the border to apply for asylum. And if you step foot in Mexico to get to the border to apply for asylum, under these new rules, you have traveled through a third country to reach the United States. So it's going to basically prevent everybody on the southern border from applying for asylum, even if you jump the fence, go through the fence, dig under the fence. If you entered without inspection through the southern border, you're going to be barred from applying for asylum because you touched ground in Mexico first. They're going to say, apply for asylum in Mexico. So this new rule is almost certainly going to face legal challenges. Donald Trump tried to pass a similar rule in 2019, and it was in appeals courts for years. Now, the new rule proposed by the Biden administration has to go through a 30-day public comment period before it can formally be adopted. If adopted, it will remain in place for a minimum of 2 years. Administration officials expect the rule to take effect on the day the Title 42 authority expires, which is May 11th. The Homeland Security and Justice Departments argued that surging numbers of migrants left them little choice. They anticipate illegal crossings to climb to between 11,000 to 13,000 per day. 11 to 13,000 people jumping the fence, going through the fence, under the fence, if no action is taken on Title 42. So if you entered the country without inspection recently, and if you do enter the country without inspection through the southern border, you're going to be put in removal, and your only choices to win your removal case is apply for asylum within a year, or argue you were paroled into the United States and be married to a U.S. citizen in a bona fide marriage. Those are everybody's choices if they come across the border illegally. But asylum is going to be taken away from you, so you better act fast or you're going to be out of luck. Now, a notice in the Federal Register says exceptions to I can't talk these days. Notice in the Federal Register says exceptions to the proposed rule will be made for people with an acute medical emergency, imminent and extreme threat of violent crimes such as murder, rape, or kidnapping, being a victim of human trafficking, or other extremely compelling circumstances. Children traveling alone will also be exempted. So there's going to be if you enter the country without inspection, after this rule takes into account, everyone's going to claim, if I go home, I'm going to be murdered, I'm going to be raped, I'm going to be kidnapped. It could be everybody's asylum claim. The rule essentially calls on prospective migrants to follow legal pathways to apply for asylum, such as using Customs and Border Patrol One app while waiting in their home country, through which prospective migrants can schedule an appointment to appear at a border entry point to apply for asylum. Government wants you to stay in your country, download an app, apply for asylum on the app, and when you get called, if you ever get called, then you figure out a way to make it to the border in Mexico. United States officials insist the proposed measure is different from Trump's. Trump said, if you touch ground in Mexico, you can't apply in U.S., no exceptions, mainly because there's room for exceptions, because the Biden administration has made other legal pathways available, particularly the humanitarian parole for Cubans, Haitians, Nicaraguans, Venezuelans, and Ukrainians, which we talked about. And the administration said migrant encounters from those countries have plummeted since the announcement, and you're using it as a model for dealing with immigration in the future. But immigration advocates have criticized attempts to limit asylum applications at the southern border, saying that a migrant's not going to sit in their home country waiting to be called on an application they downloaded on an app. Meanwhile, their life's in danger. They're running for their lives, and they got to wait for months, years, if they ever get called, waiting for it to get called by Customs and Border Patrol to come to the border. Now, supposedly, I don't know this for a fact, but supposedly what I read in the news is that Costa Rica and Mexico supposedly have, of all of the countries that you would try to, cover in Central and Central America, that Costa Rica and Mexico, which is actually Mexico, it's North America, but anybody south of the border, supposedly has the most robust asylum systems for asylum seekers traveling north. But both countries, however, have been overwhelmed by the surging number of asylum applications in recent years. Now, the new rule comes as President Biden faces Republican-controlled House, determined to make immigration a key issue as they attempt to portray the southern border as completely out of control. So we will see what happens, but I would not personally expect a breakthrough on any significant immigration law changes. I would not expect any breakthrough on any amnesty in the near future. And my expectation is that this new rule that prevents you from applying for asylum after May 11th, if you touch ground in Mexico and you're not a Mexican, it's probably going to go in the courts and be held in abeyance while it makes its way through the court system, which could be years and years. Who knows? We'll see what happens. And on February 13th, there's a new OSHA rule that will allow some people to apply for UNT visas as victims of crimes that otherwise would not have been allowed to. On February 13th, the U.S. Occupational Safety and Health Administration announced for the first time that the agency will have the authority to issue visa law enforcement certifications to workers who have had their wages stolen, safety laws violated, or suffered other workplace abuses, regardless of their immigration status. Undocumented workers across the United States who have been afraid to speak up about labor rights violations due to their immigration status have new leverage now to take action against their bosses and obtain a U or T visa. And once they have a U or T visa, workers can be employed legally, assist their family members in obtaining immigration status, apply for public benefits, and have a pathway to permanent resident status. Now, before the announcement, only police, district attorneys, prosecutors, judges involved in a criminal investigation could issue these visa certifications. And what happened is, if you were the victim of a crime, you needed the district attorney, the prosecutor, the judge to say you have assisted in the investigation of this crime. And it was a serious crime. And if you got a law enforcement to give you that certification, that is when you were able to apply for the U or T visa, which gets you work permit, gets you government benefits. Ultimately, once it's approved, you can get a green card 3 years later without being sponsored by anybody. So why this is good, this OSHA thing is good, is now it allows people who were basically not paid what they were supposed to be paid, people who were not paid at all, people who are working in unsafe working conditions, to go to OSHA, which is a federal government agency, let them investigate this, and let them issue the law enforcement certificate that will allow them to then apply for the U and T visa. Kimberly Darby, an OSHA spokesperson, said to fulfill OSHA's mission to ensure safe and healthy workplaces, it is critical that workers, regardless of immigration status, can report unsafe conditions without fear of retaliation. She added that OSHA knows many workers may not report a workplace hazard because of their immigration status or the threat of retaliation. That is our immigration schmooze of the day. And before I go to answer your immigration questions, Stargirl Mika, who everybody knows, one of our top Brad squatters, Spar and Bernstein, Klein and BradShowLive top fan Tamika, Stargirl, just received her 10-year green card. Congratulations, Star. And this was after living in the United States for more than 20 years undocumented. Now, Tamika came to New York all the way from Florida to pick up her green card in our office. Her legal team here got to meet her in person, and she was kind enough to give a testimonial about what it was like to work with Spar and Bernstein. Let's watch.
Hello, my name is Ramisha Allen. I'm one of the immigration attorneys here at Spar and Bernstein, and this is my client, Tamika. Her case was one of the difficult cases we had in our office, and I'm very happy to announce that she now has her green card after a few years. And I'm so excited to meet her in person after her long travel from Florida to New York.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
My name is Tamika, aka Stargirl from BradShowLive. I started my process in 2005, but I've been in America for 20 years. I hired attorneys, 2 attorneys previously when I'm living in Florida, which is where I live now. And those attorneys, it didn't work out. They really didn't help. One day I was on Facebook and I saw BradShowLive, Spar and Bernstein, and I started to read their success stories. What made me really clicked with their success stories was that these were people who had hard cases like mine, because my case was very difficult. After going to the immigration, USCIS for an interview and was turned down for my green card, I went back to read. I thought, I'm gonna give them a call right now. I called Spar and Bernstein. I set up a consultation the same day. During my consultation, I spoke to an attorney here at Spar and Bernstein, and after talking to her, telling her about my case, telling her about everything that I have and that I don't have, and she said to me, I'm gonna get you your green card. And today, I got my green card. 20 years later of living here illegally, now I can say I'm legal. I'm straight.
Thanks to Spar.
So I just want to say thanks to Spar and Bernstein Thanks to Brad for our show. Brad is our show, okay? And now I just want to encourage others, especially if you have a hard case. I'm not saying if you don't have a hard case, you can't come to Spar and Bernstein. Don't get me wrong. But especially if you have a hard case, especially if you feel like you're at the end, you're not seeing the light at the end of that tunnel. Trust me, the light is there. Come to Spar and Bernstein, get your consultation, hire an attorney. Some of y'all can't afford it, but Spar and Bernstein does have a payment plan. You can do it. Trust me, if I did it, you can. After 20 years, I'm able to do everything I wanted to do. This whole time I'm able to travel, go back home to Jamaica where I'm from after so long. So I'm telling you, if I did it, you can do it as well. Also, I'm from Florida. I live in Fort Lauderdale to be exact. And the Spar and Bernstein is in New York. And on the show, I noticed a lot of people ask, can I hire you if I live in Alabama, Wisconsin, Texas, New Jersey? It doesn't matter where you live. You can hire an attorney at Spar and Bernstein. I had no problems hiring an attorney at Spar and Bernstein who is in New York when I'm in Florida. We talk through email, we talk through text, we talk through DM, we talk through video calls. So it's no problem. I had no problem there hiring an attorney at Spar and Bernstein. We were closer than if my attorney was in Fort Lauderdale, okay? And remember, it's because of those success stories that I read and watched on BradShowLive, on Facebook, why I'm here today with my green card. So I'm telling you again, hire Spar and Bernstein, and you will become straight.
You'll become straight. I love it. Congratulations on becoming a lawful permanent resident of the United States. Star girl, Tamika. All right. Jalo, who's been waiting for Jalo, I was just saying, who was waiting 5 months and an hour. I'm going to take his call. Jalo, how are you?
I'm doing great. How you doing?
Great. What can I do to help you today?
All right. First, I would like to thank you for everything you do and all of your stuff.
My
I
pleasure.
have two questions.
Yes.
My first question is that my dad became a U.S. citizen around like 2013, 2014. And at that time, I was 16 years old. So I moved to the U.S. when I was 19, like that was around 5 years ago. Okay. So I'm now like eligible to apply for citizenship. I don't know which one do I need to apply for, if it is the N400 or N600.
It's the N400 because you have to naturalize. You entered the United States at 19, you said, right? With your green card. Is that what you said?
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Okay. So because you entered the United States after the age of 18, you did not become an automatic U.S. citizen. So you waited the 5 years. You're now 24, 25, whatever it may be. You're going to file an N400 application. That's the application for naturalization. You have to prove 5 years good moral character. You have to prove that you've been in the United States for 30 out of the last 60 months. You have to file in the state where you're living for the last 90 days. You have to take the English test and government civics test. If you had entered the United States under the age of 18, you would have filed the N600 immediately and been a U.S. citizen. Wouldn't have had to have gone through that whole process. But unfortunately for you, you have to go through the whole N400 process, the naturalization process. All right?
Appreciate
You're very welcome. Good luck with everything.
All right. How's it going?
Okay. All right. Timothy in Cleveland, Ohio. Timothy. Timothy going once. Timothy going twice. And unfortunately, Timothy, we got to move on to the next person. Syed in Edensburg, Maryland. Syed.
Yes. Well, Syed, Sykeswell. Just say Sykeswell, Maryland.
Sykeswell,
correct.
Okay. What's going on?
So when's my number coming?
When's your what coming?
When is my turn coming in?
Your turn is right now. You're live.
Oh.
You're talking to me live. What is your question?
Okay. All right, ma'am. So my question was, I came to the U.S. through the Afghan SIV program in 2017 because I worked with the U.S. government.
Right. You were an interpreter? You were an
I
interpreter?
was an interpreter.
Yes.
Before I was an interpreter, and then I became an engineer with the Army Corps of Engineers through the contractors side, not with them, but through the contractors side, like through the GC side.
Right.
But I came to the U.S. Last year. I applied for my citizenship, and I had my interview in September, and for naturalization. But they didn't give me a response. I forgot to ask what the issue was from the immigration officer. She didn't tell me nothing, and she said the system says to just wait.
I can guess what the issue is. I can guess the issue is the country where you came from, Afghanistan. They stereotype everybody because once you become a citizen, it's impossible to take it back. And because you come from a area where there could be enemies of the United States of America, they have to double, triple, and quadruple check that you are, somebody who wants to be a citizen of the United States and not somebody in enemy clothing, for example. So they do a lot more background check on you than they would necessarily do on a Canadian, for example. So that's the reason. Now, you went for your interview in September. It's been about 6 months already, right?
Yes.
Okay. So you have choices. You can wait to see what happens. If you have gone for an interview for citizenship, for your naturalization, and it's more than 120 days and there's no decision, you can do what's called a de novo review. What a de novo review is, you can request the U.S. government to bring, you don't request the U.S. government, you actually sue the U.S. government to bring your case before a federal judge and let a federal judge decide. And they have to make a decision within 120 days. That's what the law says. And if they don't make a decision within 120 days, they violate everybody's rights. And if they don't make a decision within 120 days, you have a right to have a federal judge decide. So you can do that. You can threaten to do that. Or you can wait for them to continue to violate your rights for God knows how long. Personally, I would probably threaten that now. Threaten a mandamus, which is to force the a judge to force the federal government to make a decision, or threaten a de novo review, which is the federal judge will make a decision on your citizenship case. But at some point, you're probably going to need a judge to get involved. You may say to yourself, well, it's only 6 months. I'll wait a few more months, and that's your prerogative. That's fine, too. You have the right to wait as long as you want, but you have also the right to do this when you want now.
Okay. Well, when we came to the U.S., we were vetted. We were, we went through the immigration process. We submitted our application to the USCIS through I-360, and everything was vetted. And then, it was approved by the U.S. ambassador. Everything was through the process.
Sure. I'm just telling you, asked me why, and I gave you my reason why. I know you've already been vetted, but it's easier to deport somebody. Very easy to deport somebody if they made an error. It's much harder to take away. It's much harder to take away somebody's citizenship. So that's why they take a much longer time.
So what would be the solution? I'm sorry, if you could repeat that.
The solution is wait, or do what's called a de novo review. What the law says is more than 120 days have gone by, you can ask a federal judge to make the decision on your naturalization. That would require the services of a lawyer to go into federal court. You can do a mandamus, which is request a federal judge not to make a decision, but to force the government to make a decision. Or you can threaten that, which is kind of, cutting the baby in half kind of thing, where you can threaten to do it, not actually do it, and see what they say. Those are your options. You can wait, but I suspect that you're going to be waiting a while. My guess, but I hope I'm wrong.
Okay.
All right. All right.
All right.
Need help.
Thank you so much.
And if you need help doing a mandamus, doing a de novo review, things work. That stuff works. I'll tell you what doesn't work. Going to your congressman or senator doesn't work. Writing officer doesn't work. The only thing that works is the hammer of a federal judge.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much.
All right,
Thank you.
All right. Ola in Memphis, Tennessee. Ola. Ola. Ola.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you? How you doing?
Okay, I have a quick question.
Yes.
I got my green card by marriage to a U.S. citizen. She divorced me, and I removed my condition myself.
Okay.
And then got remarried.
Great.
So I have two questions on that. First off, am I tied to the 5-year wait to file for another wife if I marry from, someone outside of the country?
Yes. Unless you become a citizen first, which you probably didn't have happen yet. Yeah. So if you get a green card, through marriage to a U.S. citizen, if you get divorced at any time during that period, even if you have a 10-year green card, you have to wait 5 years from the time you got your lawful residence before you can file for a second spouse.
Okay, so I got married within 4 years of that, and I'm now a citizen.
It's not how long you've been married to your first wife. It's you had to have a green card for 5 years.
Okay, so now that I'm a U.S. citizen, am I still affected by this rule?
No, if you're a U.S. citizen, you can. It only affects people who are lawful residents still. So you can file for a second wife now.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's go to Noni in Detroit. Noni.
All right. Thank you.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
I'm all right.
Noni,
You?
No, very good. Just listen to your phone, not the computer. That's all.
Okay, just switch it off.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, what is your question, Noni?
All right. I filed for VAWA by myself, and later stage, I got student lawyers that requested that they should get involved. And upon that, on that agreement that they should get involved, I asked them to expedite my work authorization. They are delaying on that. Can I do it myself? Because I've already managed to find fee waiver by myself. So
you can do everything yourself. Right. You can represent yourself. It's perfectly fine.
What do I need
to expedite a work permit? Is this a renewal or the original one?
Original one, VAWA.
If it's an original one, you have to show some sort of extreme humanitarian need for a waiver. I mean, for a work permit. What is the extreme humanitarian need other than obviously you need a job? How long have you been waiting on a work permit?
It's 120 days now.
120 days?
Yes.
Yeah, probably. Honestly, you'll probably get it another 60, 90 days, but you can just write the saddest story you can come up with and request an expedite and see what they say. You can absolutely do it yourself.
All right. Is a letter from my pastor or preacher good enough to prove?
What is your pastor going to say?
I live in one of his, my husband kicked me out, so I live in one of his house.
You can, you can say you're going to be homeless, I guess, but right now you're under somebody's roof, and although it may not be the most pleasant, I don't know if that's an extreme humanitarian need to get, to jump the line over everybody else. You have to think about, you are requesting to jump the line over everybody else who has the same problem. They're, living in somebody's home. They can't work legally yet. So what is, what is your story that is so extreme over everybody else ahead of you? Because everybody has a story. So I don't think that would
I have
work.
it.
I mean, honestly, I don't think you living in your pastor's house is the reason to expedite your work permit. But you can certainly try. Come up with the saddest things you can come up with.
All right, then I get it.
All right. But you'll probably
All right,
get your work permit anyway in another 60 days or so. But you can absolutely try. The worst they'll say is no. It doesn't hurt to do it.
All right. Thank you so much, Brad.
Okay. All right. Let's go to Mohammed in Fresno. Mohammed.
Yep.
How are you, Mohammed?
I'm good. Thank you.
What can I do to help you? Did we lose Mohammed?
Hello?
I'm here, Mohammed.
No, this is Muhammad.
Yes.
Hi, Ben, how are you?
Good. What is your question?
I have pending asylum back in 20, and I have interview next week, I-485. So my question is, once if it's approved, when I will get my green card, like how long time and what the process is.
You have to withdraw your asylum, and you'll do that at the time of the interview. I don't know when you're going to get your green card. I didn't work on your case. I know nothing about it. You're asking me a question that only, I guess, God would know when you're going to get it. I don't know. Nobody knows yet. You got to go past the interview and see what the issues are first.
Okay. Interview, if I approve, then I have to withdraw my asylum, right?
You have to withdraw your asylum in order to get approved.
Like, if my application will approve I-485,
you have to. It's not. They're going to approve your adjustment. And now you withdraw your asylum. You have to withdraw your asylum to get your adjustment application approved. I assume you're in a marriage.
Okay, so I do have a legal entry. Does it any effect if I have a legal entry with the inspection?
No, the fact that you made a legal entry allows you to adjust your status. You're asking me, will I get a green card and how long will it be? And the answer is I don't know. The only advice I can give you at this moment, based on the extraordinarily little information I know about you, is that since you have a pending asylum application, that has to be withdrawn at the time of the interview. All right. But if you need more help, I would have to sit down with you for a long consultation to figure out your life and what's going on. I know nothing about your asylum case. I don't know how you came here to the U.S. I know nothing about your marriage. So I can't tell you when you're going to get your green card. But hold on one second if you need help. Let's go to Rita in Austin, Texas. Rita.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hi, how are you?
Fine, thank you.
What can I do to help you today?
Yes, thank you for giving me this opportunity to be here.
My pleasure.
What I wanted to ask is, I am married to a U.S. citizen, and we are about filing. We've completed everything. I have a child back in my home country. I wanted to find out if he, the U.S. citizen, can file together, or we have to wait till I get my green card.
How old is your child back home?
10 years.
Okay. So your U.S. citizen husband's going to file an adjustment application for you.
Yes,
on the adjustment application, on the adjustment and on the I-130, it's going to say, please list your children. You're going to list them. That would not, your children, because you're married to a U.S. citizen, are not included on that adjustment application. What your husband can do is file a separate I-130 visa petition as the stepfather for your 10-year-old son back in your home country. The law says as long as the marriage happened before your child's 18th birthday, your husband's in the same position as a biological father. He is the father. He's your son's an immediate relative. So the stepfather, your husband, files an I-130 visa petition for your son, and that is one process, and will file an adjustment application for you, and that's a separate process. So it's going to be two processes at the same time. Correct.
Okay, so you don't have to wait till my green card comes. You can do it at the same time. And it
Correct.
won't affect my green card.
Correct.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, sir.
All right. Good luck.
Thank you.
Let's go to Sam in Sacramento, California. Sam.
Oh, hello, Uncle Sam. Hello, Uncle Brad.
Hi,
Good
Sam.
day, sir.
Good day.
How are you doing today?
Great. How you doing?
I'm good, sir. Quick one, Uncle Brad. I came into the United States September 2018, and I came through conditional green card. We married 2017, and I came into the United States 2018. And unfortunate, the marriage we weren't able to work things out, so we got divorced 2019, which eventually we had a kid. So the first year I got to America, we had a joint tax together. We lived together. We have for the period of time that we stayed together.
You had the financial relationship for the time you were together.
Yeah.
And you had a child together. Is that what you said, right?
Yeah, we have a child. We have a beautiful 3-year-old, going 4-year-old girl together. So
I don't see a problem yet, but tell me what the problem is.
So the problem right now is 2019, 2020. I put in to remove the condition on my green card,
Based
which
on
I
the
didn't
divorce.
want. I filed a waiver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I filed a waiver to be able to do that myself. But 2019. She called the cops on me for, domestic violence, which eventually was dropped. I wasn't charged. Nothing happened. The police actually issued me an apology letter, blah, 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 stuff like that. So the problem right now is I filed for my removal, and it's been the last time the first time I got the 18-month extension, then I got another 24-month extension, which eventually I realized that the same 18 months is what they upgraded to the 24 months. And it's more than 4 years. The last receipt that I had from USCIS was as of August 30th, 2021. We have already scheduled you for an interview for your Form I-75 petition of removal condition. And ever since then, I've not heard anything. So eventually, I tried.
One second. You have a letter saying they're going to schedule you, but they never did. So it's 5-6 years.
Never.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Continue.
So I'm planning to travel to my country, for something important. So I was able to get my passport stamped with the USCIS office here in Sacramento, California for another 1 year. So they took my original green card, my expired green card, but they stamped my international passport. Okay. So I'm planning on going for maybe 2-3 weeks max. So I want to know if I'm planning on going this month. So I want to know if that would not have any effect on my what they call it.
Yeah. You can go for 3 weeks. You've been a permanent resident all of these years. You just never removed the conditions. So you're a lawful resident. You can travel like any other lawful resident for 2 to 3 weeks. Instead of traveling with a 10-year green card, you have a temporary stamp in your passport. As long as it says I-551, evidence of lawful residence until X date, whatever the date they put, and you're back before that date.
Extension for 1 year.
Okay.
So the extension I got is going to lapse for December 2023.
And you're fine. Yeah. You're fine to travel. Now you've had conditional resident status for more than 5 years. You came here in 2018, right? We're now in 2023.
September.
September when?
September. I came in September 2018.
Okay. So what I would suggest is July of this year. Go on your trip. Okay. 3 weeks, perfectly fine. You'll be allowed back. In July of this year, you will be more than 4 years and 9 months of having lawful residence. And what I would suggest in July of this year, if you still have not been scheduled for the I-751 interview, to just file your signature.
Okay. That would be great.
All right. And then when you go on your citizenship interview, they're going to do both the I-751 interview and the citizenship interview together.
Get it. All right. That's great.
All right.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, other than they didn't make it. Oh, excuse me. Wow. Other than they didn't make a decision on your case, you're fine. And you have a child together, and your wife called the police on you, and the police saw you together, and the case was dismissed. And I talked about that in an earlier question. You know, the police coming on a DV case, as long as the charges were dismissed, proves it's a real marriage. They saw you there. You did your taxes. So you don't have a problem, other than they got to schedule the interview.
Okay. And Uncle Brad, quick, I just want, you're saying something about the issue of moral character. If you've been, you know, in any form of, you know, legal, I hope whatever happens during the domestic violence, you know, claim and all that would not affect me from having my,
well,
what they call it.
You can certainly travel with a domestic violence charge that was dismissed. You can 100% remove the conditions of your permanent residence with a domestic violence charge that was dismissed. And filing for citizenship in July, you know, it's always my opinion you're allowed to have a bad day. It doesn't make you a bad person. Your charges were dismissed. It's not like you have a record of getting arrested multiple times for domestic violence. And you have also, you said an apology from the police. So, you have an explanation of what happened. You know, your wife made up stuff against you, at least.
Exactly.
And you have the backup evidence from the police. So, I mean, it seems like you'll be okay.
All right. Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate hearing that.
All right. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. All right. Let's go to Amy in Chicago. Amy. Hi, Amy.
Yes, I'm here. Yes.
Yes. How are you?
Good. Thank you.
What's going on? Amy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Just 1 second, please. I apologize. I have a question for him. Is he live right now?
You are live right now, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize. So for the form 485, question 62, size of household. So I am the intending immigrant living with the petitioner, my husband, with 2 dependent children. He's only claiming one on his taxes, but they're living half time with us, half with the mom. And his mom, who is living with us, but moving in 2 months, and we don't use her income. What is the size of the household?
The size of the household is you have at the moment.
Yes.
At the moment, you have a household of 3 people plus partially dependent child and a mother who lives with you but is not dependent on you at all. So the size of your household is 5, but you have basically 3.5 dependents. So it depends what, I'm not sure which question you're referring to, on I-45 or the I-864.
485, question 62.
The answer would be you have your mother, you have you have 1 child living with you, and your family. Right now your household is 4 people at the moment.
Okay, so it's his 2 children and his mom, not my mom. So it's 4.
You just told me 1 child doesn't live with you.
No, the 2 children live with us half the time, but he's claiming only 1 on his taxes as dependent.
You have a household of 4 at the moment, but that has nothing to do with dependence on you for the I-864. That's a different question.
Okay. So for 864, would that be then 3 or 4?
You would have you, him, 1 and 1 child.
Okay, and because he claims only 1, correct?
Partially dependent. There's a partial dependence you can put down also.
Okay, so 485, 62.
This is not a show to answer questions on how to fill out forms. Do you have any other specific question? I can't sit there and tell you how to fill out every question on a form.
Okay, that's okay. That's the only 2 questions I have. One last question, if you don't mind. So I had an accident last year. Petty offense, got dismissed in court. No tickets, no criminal records. Do I need to provide anything?
No, that has nothing to do with the case.
Okay, that's all. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay, have a good one.
Thank you too. Okay. Let's go to Joel in Savannah, Georgia. Joel. Hi, Joel.
Yes, how are you, Brad?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm calling you from Savannah, Georgia. My question is, I'm on asylum process, but so I applied on 20th. They received my application for asylum on 20th of January 2021, and my I-94 shows that my entry was on January 27th. But now I'm trying to see if I can adjust my status to EB3, unskilled worker visa. So my question was, am I eligible for these?
You came, when did you come again? Tell me these dates.
I got here on 2020, January 2027.
Right. How'd you come on? What type of visa? What type of visa?
A J1 visa.
Okay. Did you have a 2-year home residence requirement?
Yes, I had.
You did?
Yes.
Okay. And then you applied for asylum?
Yes.
And now you want to do an EB3, but
yeah,
you still need a waiver of the 2-year home residence requirement. How are you going to get that?
That is now the question that I also had.
Because you can only base it on hardship to family. You can't base it on hardship to yourself. So you can only base it on hardship to family, interested government agency, or a no objection letter from your home country. So you applied for asylum saying they're going to kill me if I go back. And then you're going to go to your home country and say, hey, do you mind if I go back? Give me a no objection letter. You don't mind if I go back.
Okay.
It's illogical. I don't know if you're going to be able to do it.
Wow. All right.
All right. Because if you've applied for asylum, so you're in legal status, except you came on this J visa with a 2-year home residence requirement. So if you're not following through on the asylum, you fall back to what are the requirements on the J visa? You got to go home for 2 years.
Yeah.
And there's no way to waive that for you unless you're married to a U.S. citizen.
So there's no way we can waive that until maybe...
You're not going to request a no objection letter from a country you're saying I'm scared to go back to.
Yeah.
Seems illogical.
Okay, right now, all right, I have to schedule an appointment with you so that maybe you can talk in details.
Okay, sounds good.
All right.
All right. Let's go to Unique in West Palm Beach, Florida. Unique.
Hi, Brad.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
We're good. What can
So
I
I
do?
have 2 questions.
Yes.
My questions are, first one is, I got my green card through VAWA. June coming will be 2 years. I recently got married, so I wanted to find out, should I wait while finding my citizenship to do the change of name, or I can go ahead and do the change of name?
You can do it now if you want, or you can do it during your citizenship. It doesn't matter. The rules about getting married if you got your green card through a marriage doesn't apply to VAWA cases. So it's perfectly fine. Either way, whatever makes you happy.
Okay, thank you. Have a great evening.
Let's go to Dwayne in Cape Cod, Massachusetts. Dwayne.
Yes, Brad. Good afternoon.
How are you?
All right. I got 3 questions. Quick questions though. I got my green card through marriage. However, it's a 10-year. I got the 10-year, but we're separated, not divorced, but separated. Could I go ahead and file for my daughter in Jamaica on my own?
Yes.
All right. Next question. In regards to filing taxes, what should I file on my taxes? Married filing separate or what?
You have a 10-year card now, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, just married filing separately until you get divorced.
Okay, but when I try to do that, it's asking me for her social, but she doesn't want to give it to me. What do I do now?
Speak to your accountant and do head of household, do single. You'll do the best you can. I'm not a tax.
Okay, thank you. And
I mean, but if you can't file it because she won't give you the social security number, then you got to pick a different category. And then when you go on your citizenship interview, they say, "Why did you do it this way?" My wife wouldn't give me a social security number. What do you want? I have to file my tax return somehow.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, the last question is, I'm cleared to travel even though I have my 10-year green card since 2021. I've never been back to my country. Is it safe to go?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Is there any reason why you're not divorcing?
She just don't want to sign the divorce.
Who cares? Just serve her.
Okay.
You serve
All
her
right,
with
thank
divorce.
you.
She has 30. You serve her with the divorce. She has 30 days to hire a lawyer or show up to court and contest the divorce.
Okay.
Let's do
All
it.
right,
Of
thanks.
course. Okay. All right. Let's go to Ali in Brooklyn. Ali.
Yes.
Ali, how are you? You're on.
Good. Thank you, Brad. Thank you very much for running show again. It's appreciated.
My pleasure.
Brad, I came here in 2015 with a visitor visa, B1 visa. We applied asylum later, and since then we are waiting for interview.
Right.
No interview yet. We constantly apply for work permit, and we constantly get it. Right now, I have opportunities to get my green card 3 EB2 through my employer, and they are willing to apply for me. But there is a question for me. I have 3 days gap between my expiration date on my I-94 and the date that I received the letter for my asylum pending. Just 3 days. Is it an issue, or can I adjust my status inside the U.S.?
You can adjust your status in the United States because either they received your asylum application within that 6-month period, or even if it took them, they received it 3 days late. There's something called Section 245K. And what Section 245K says is that if you're getting sponsored through an employer, as long as your overstay was less than 180 days, you can still adjust your status. So you'll either adjust under regular 245A, or if it's, that 3 days, you'll be 245K. The thing with so the answer is yes. The thing with 245K is it only applies to the principal applicant, which is you. So if for your family, if you're going to fall back on 245K, they would not be able to adjust if they overstayed their time as well. It would just be you, and then we'll deal with them after you get your green card.
Okay, that's another question. I want to clarify that one, that my wife had the offer for her employer, not me. I applied for asylum. They are on my case. We are family of 3. They are on my case. But right now, my wife has an offer for a sponsorship to a green card to her employer.
Your wife is the EB2. Your wife is the EB2.
Correct.
Okay. So your wife, who was 3 days late, I guess she's on your asylum case, will be able to adjust her status. I would keep your asylum case open, and then we can make a determination. So your wife will adjust under 245K. Maybe immigration has received it before the expiration. You have to do a FOIA to find out. If they did, then you would be able to adjust too. If not, then probably you would keep your asylum case open, and then we'll figure out whether you can do a provisional waiver, go home and come back safely. We can process you with a provisional waiver to a third country. You're going to wait on your wife's citizenship. I mean, we'll see what to do about you after.
Okay, it means I cannot adjust my status through that.
If you're a 3 day overstay, the answer is you cannot. Your wife can under 245K.
Okay, I got it.
Got it.
Thank you, Brett. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. All right, let's go to Timothy in Cleveland, Ohio. Timothy.
Hello.
Hi, Timothy. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing good, Brad. How are you?
Good. What can I do to help you today?
Good. I have 3 quick questions for you, Brad. The first one is my dad did an affidavit letter for my brother-in-law for my sister to petition for him to become a green card holder. But in the affidavit letter, through a conversation yesterday, we found out that in the affidavit letter, he actually said that he has known my brother-in-law since September of 2020, when it really and truly was September 2021. So we were like, no, that's not what she like, oh, yeah, you're true. It was actually on Labor Day. So now he's like, we're all freaking out because we're like, oh my gosh, we don't want to let the government think that we're lying or there's some inconsistency in what we're saying. So we were like, what steps would we take in this situation? Is it, I mean, you know?
Say that again. Tell me one more time.
Okay, so my brother-in-law, my sister is filing for her husband, my brother-in-law, for him to become a green card holder.
Right.
They live with my dad and everything with their two children, his stepchildren. But my dad did an affidavit letter for him, like attesting to their relationship and stuff like that.
Right.
But in the letter, the substance of the letter is okay. But there's this one error that he made is that he said he known my brother-in-law since September 2020. It really and truly was September 2021 and not.
What is the purpose of this affidavit? I don't understand. Just to say that they're in a real relationship?
Yeah, you know, like some attorneys will say, could you get like 3 persons to do it? You know, someone basically writing an affidavit to say, I know the relationship.
I don't believe in these affidavits just on a regular marriage. I think it's not necessary. They're going to determine whether it's a real marriage or not based on, do you live together? Do you have a financial relationship? It has nothing to do with whether my father-in-law says it's real or not. They're not really going to look at it too much. And then when you do submit an affidavit like you just did and father-in-law contradicts, then it opens up for more questions. The best thing to do, it's already been submitted, is get an updated affidavit from the father-in-law and just say, we realize there was a typographical error, and bring it for the interview.
Okay, sounds good. The next question I have for you is that he had 3 encounters. That's my brother now. He had 3 encounters with law enforcement. One was for driving without a valid license. He went to court, it dismissed. The next one was he was speeding, citation. He paid the fine, faulty equipment, and then he paid the fine. The next one, they arrested him for reckless driving. He went, they withheld adjudication, and then
he's going to need a lawyer, because even though he doesn't have an inadmissible offense, he's been arrested like 3 times. They could deny him moral character issues.
He was never 3 times he was arrested.
You told me reckless driving. What was the other?
Okay, so he was arrested for reckless driving. The next one, he got a citation for driving without a valid license, but when he went to court, they dismissed it because he had a valid license and a passport. The next one was speeding, but then when he went, they found out that it was faulty equipment, so they reduced that speeding citation to a faulty equipment. And then the first one was driving without a valid license, and they dismissed that one in court. He was only arrested once for the reckless driving.
All right. Well, I mean, I hope these other issues in totality don't make it bad moral character. I would have to look at the dispositions, but having all of these small little issues do add up for adjustment of status.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Sounds good, bro. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. You're very welcome. All right. So that is our call-in part of the show. And later in the show, I'm going to be answering all of your questions that you've been writing in the comments. So please make sure that you leave all of your questions in the comment section. I'm going to be answering them right now. But right now, I'm going to tell you what you should know about construction accidents. Accidents are never planned. That's why saving the right information in case there comes a time when you need it is essential. Let's watch. Workers' compensation is an insurance mandated by the government and paid for by the employer. It ensures that employees who are injured in job-related accidents receive medical and wage benefits. In New York, workers' compensation typically covers your medical expenses, along with 2/3 of your average weekly wage, and travel expenses to and from healthcare appointments. Injuries that are typically not covered under workers' compensation include injuries received while performing the job under the influence of alcohol or drugs, injuries received in violation of company rules and regulations, injuries that occur while commuting to and from your job location, emotional and psychiatric injuries, and self-inflicted injuries. To make sure you're eligible for workers' compensation, consult experienced construction accident attorneys. At Spar and Bernstein, we will research your case and identify your options for filing additional claims outside of workers' compensation. All right. Workers' compensation is an insurance. Nope. We're going to get there. I promise. Workers' compensation is... Nope. Nope. All right, we're going to get there in a minute. My face is going to come back. Workers' compensation. Not coming back on the screen. It will. My face is definitely going to come back on the screen. I promise you. I promise you it will. I promise you that my face will come back on the screen, and we will be continuing our show. And we're going to get to your social media questions very, very quickly. I can almost assure you this. As soon as we get this, there's somebody. There he is. Here I am. All right, you ready to do some social media check-in? Let's do it. All right, let's go to our first question. Is it possible to change the H-2B visa to a green card? Well, if you're on an H-2B visa, you're only here on as a seasonal worker. So yes, you can change it to a green card, but if you're asking if you're going to get sponsored a job, you're going to need a longer period of time to be on a visa than 6 months. So you would have to most likely change your H-2B to a different category in order to get sponsored a job. If you're going to get married to a U.S. citizen, that's a different story. But we would need to have a consultation to figure all of that out. Let's go to the next question. Squad up, quick question from Tanny Smith. How soon after you get your work permit do you get your marriage-based green card interview? It depends on immigration, what state you're in. Generally speaking, it's about 2 or 3 months to get fingerprinted, about 6 to 7 months for your work permit, and another 6 months from there to get your green card interview. So figure it's about 12, 13 months in total, if that helps you out a little bit. All right. Next question. Brad, can someone get married that is seeking asylum and the asylum is not approved yet? Absolutely. Go get married, be in a bona fide marriage, and you just have to withdraw the asylum before you go for your adjustment interview. But absolutely, you can do that. Next question from Natisha Boyd. Is Jamaica doing F2A interviews now? And what year, if they are doing it? I would have to look at what the visa bulletin is right now. Let's see. I'm going to Google visa bulletin and see. The visa bulletin for F2A, the answer is yes. And the current F2A is current, I believe. Yes, it is still current. So yes, the answer is they are doing it. And it's current, so hopefully you'll get an interview soon. Question from Josephine Latham. If you are filing for citizenship and you're married, do you need your spouse's citizenship certificate to do it if you're filing because of 5 years as a green card holder? You do not need your spouse's citizenship papers to file for your citizenship, although they do ask questions about what your spouse's information is. But if you don't have his citizenship papers, just don't have it. You don't know his citizenship number, you don't have it. You don't have his social security number, no big deal. You submit what you have. You'll still get your green card one way or the other. From Sardashinaria. I have a pending asylum in court, and I have an interview next week based on marriage. When can I receive my green card once I'm approved? My entry was legal. I do have an I-94. You have an pending asylum in court, and you have an interview next week based on, assuming you get your I-130 visa petition approved, I assume that's what you're going for your interview for. You then have to go back to the immigration court, schedule a master calendar with the judge, show him or her that you have the approved I-130, and then they will either terminate proceedings and let you adjust, or they'll schedule an individual hearing for your adjustment. So you're still a bit a ways, at least more than a year, maybe 2. Let's see who else we got here. You got a 10-year green card. When can you file for citizenship? You can file for your citizenship after having been married to a U.S. citizen in a bona fide marriage for 3 years as a resident, or 5 years if you're no longer in a bona fide marriage. So, for example, if you got a conditional green card 3 years ago and you filed to remove the conditions last year and you just removed the conditions and now you've had resident status for more than 3 years, you're in a bona fide marriage with your spouse still, which means you live together and have a financial relationship with your spouse, then you can file for your citizenship right away. Otherwise, you got to wait 5 years from the time you got your conditional card or your permanent card. Let's go to, who is this? Show that. Jeslo. Hello, my husband had a marijuana conviction from Switzerland in absentia. His interview is coming up. How will he present this? Well, if he has a conviction, he may be barred from getting a green card unless he can show that the possession was less than 30 grams. If it was more than 30 grams, he's going to be barred from getting his green card. And then at that point, he's going to need to hire a lawyer in Switzerland to reopen his marijuana case. It's a problem. Let's see. Next question is here. Drayson Wilson. Is it quicker to get a green card from my husband who is a resident than an employment-based? Probably yes. It's quicker being married to a resident than doing it based on employment. Katie, 1876 Jamaica. What happened after my VAWA was approved? My I-45 in 2017, and my I-45 from 2017 VAWA was filed in 2020. Once your VAWA is approved and you have a pending adjustment, it'll take about 6-9 months, 12 months maximum. They'll schedule you for a final interview and you'll get your green card. That's what'll happen. Zidzin. How can I expedite the I-360 VAWA since I'm in removal proceedings and my case administratively closed but not terminated? I'm one of your clients. Thanks. You can't. Well, first of all, if you're one of my clients, call your attorney team. You can't expedite a VAWA because you're in removal, especially since it's administratively closed. So there's no pressure that you're going to get deported anytime soon. So unless there's an overriding humanitarian reason, which probably there isn't, because we would have advised you otherwise, you just unfortunately have to wait it out. And VAWAs are taking a while now. Let's go to Evans K. I've got my prima facie from my VAWA petition approved. How are my chances of getting the final approval and how long will it take? Thanks. I think after you get your prima facie, it's going to take about 3 years start to finish for a VAWA case. That's what it's doing right now. Let's see. Who else we got here? Evans asked the question 75 times. Citizen, I was in America for 40 years. I came back to Ireland a year ago. What do I do now? Live in Ireland. I don't know what your status was in the United States. We need to know a lot more. Let's see if there's any other questions here. Rose Marie Chin. Hi, Brad. I'm in the F2B category from Jamaica. Priority date June 21st, 2017. I'm just waiting to start submitting documents. Do you have any idea when the bulletin will start moving again? I don't know when it'll be moving again. They're right now up to September 22nd, 2015. You're June 17, 2017. So unfortunately, you're at least 2 years away. Let's see. Cynthia Wallace, just thanking Brad. Super duper Bernstein. Thank you. Big ups to Emily Walsh and David Dominguez. I received my 10-year green card. Wow. I'm so happy. Thanks again, Brad Squad. That's really nice, Cynthia. Congratulations. Let's see who else we got here. Miss Sunshine, one thing with us Jamaicans. Is this true? The minute we get our papers, we're going right back to Jamaica before anywhere else. Probably true for most countries, not just Jamaica. Jessica Leamy. I think this is the first time Brad said he's going to come on at a specific time. It really came on live at the time. I love it. Yes, Jessica Leamy, we are trying our best, trying to improve. Let's see what other questions we have here. Let's see. 29 Super C, just saying hello. Says he was shocked to see BradShowLive pop up. Didn't even know it was coming on. Hey, I shocked 29 Super C. That's not easy to do. Let's see what other questions we have here. Nezreen, hi, Brad. I'm so happy to see you again. I have a question, please. My husband had a typographical error on his name change petition and his naturalization certificate. What's the steps to do to correct it? If there is a error on the naturalization certificate, you have to file a application to amend the naturalization. Oh, you have a naturalization. You didn't lose it. It's already, there's an error on it. First thing we need to do, the first thing we would need to do would be to get a FOIA to see whose error it was. And then at that point, I've never seen an error on a naturalization application, typographical error on his name change petition and his naturalization certificate. I understand now. You need to go back and get the name change certificate corrected and then go back and make an application for replacement naturalization with the corrected name. And if they deny it, then probably ask a federal judge to order the name change on the naturalization application. Or alternatively, you just have your naturalization application. I don't think you really need to change it. And you have your name change corrected and your naturalization, you go with your naturalization application and your name change if you ever need to prove what your real name is. That would probably be the easiest thing in the world. If you're a U.S. citizen, from Florence Henry, if you are a U.S. citizen, how long does it take to file for my son, age 34? Assuming your son is single, 7 to 10 years. Let's see who else we got here. Dawn Fisher, my daughter is waiting on an interview date in Jamaica. She keeps getting a 60-day extension of wait time. Can she renew her visitor's visa, which expired? Her priority date is October 2015. They're not going to renew her visitor's visa because she is going to get a green card anytime, and they're going to say you're coming to the United States and we'll adjust. So unfortunately, you just have to wait. Willie L. Sharif, in I-360 is approved. I have a deportation order back from 2008. We asked for forgiveness and motion to reopen my case, and they accepted it back in September, but no answer yet. Why are they taking? Well, you have been ordered removed. So you made a motion to reopen. They'll accept any motion, but it takes time. I don't know if you're doing it as a joint application, if you're doing it based on prosecutorial discretion, if it was done right or incorrect. So there's a million reasons why they would take time. The most important reason is there's no timeline for them to reopen your case. So this is 6 months. It could take a year. I've seen cases take 2 years. I've seen cases take forever and be denied. So 6 months is not unusual. All right, let's do one or two more. Let's go to this person here. Sunny Adventure. If someone has a work permit under VAWA and the other one under TPS, is it safe to travel with advanced parole he received under the VAWA case? Is his advanced parole valid for TPS? If you have a VAWA adjustment filed and you have advanced parole based on the VAWA adjustment, it's perfectly safe to travel on that advanced parole. That's my answer. All right, let's do one last question. Let's see. So someone's asking the same question over and over again. Here we go. Romeo Sawyers. Hi, Brad. My mom is a U.S. citizen. She filed for me and my two brothers. She's unable to work. The husband is sick. Our case is documentally qualified at NBC. Can she apply to waive to expedite the interview in Jamaica? If there is a hardship of health reasons and you need your family here, absolutely, and you should try to do that. Absolutely try to expedite based on that. The best way to expedite is obviously health and medical reasons. That's usually the most effective way to expedite a case. All right, let's see where we're at now. We're always talking about climate change and its effects on immigration on the show. In Katerina Bogateriva's case, she has turned her immigration journey from Latvia to the United States into an environmental activism. Katerina is the owner of Precycle, a zero-waste grocery store located in Brooklyn, New York, that empowers customers to be more conscious of their impact on their environment and the everyday ways we can reduce our carbon footprint. We visited Katerina at her store, got a tour, and learned about her immigration and environmentally conscious entrepreneurship story. Let's watch.
Hey Brad Squad, Vanessa Contreras here, and as you know, on BradShowLive, we're always talking about the global effects of climate change and the power of environmental activism. Today, I'm here in Brooklyn to meet Katerina Bogateriva, a Latvian immigrant whose zero-waste grocery store is helping to reduce our environmental footprint one New Yorker at a time. The store empowers customers to be more conscious of their environmental impacts and the everyday ways they can do their part. Let's check it out. Katerina, thank you so much for having us at your shop today. So can you tell us what is Precycle and how does it work?
So Precycle is the first zero-waste grocery store in New York City. We opened at the end of 2018. The idea is to give people a chance to buy groceries without excessive packaging, because it's, as you might notice, it's a problem. So the way it works is you bring your own containers and we weigh them, and then you acquire food, and at the end, you only pay for the food, not the packaging. We also have reusable containers in store that you can purchase, as well as paper bags.
How did you come up with this idea?
So it all kind of stemmed out of my own frustration as a customer, not being able to make these environmentally conscious choices. I made a lot of effort. It was possible, but it was very, very difficult. I had to go from one store to another, to farmer's market, and being a single parent and a full-time working mom, it was a lot. So that was the time that I started thinking about how I would like to shop myself and, hopefully bring this concept to more people that want to make these choices.
And it's important to even shed light or be an advocate for that. So thank you so much. Now, where do you source the products sold at Precycle, and why is it important to use local vendors?
I think that during pandemic, we learn about the fragility of our supply chains. Yeah. Also, when something comes from far away, there is a cost to that. We don't often think about it, but the transportation cost, the cost to the environment, the cost to the communities that grow these foods, they need to make them super cheap in order for the big companies to make profit. So I think it's a problem on so many levels. And I think when we shop locally and we purchase goods that are grown here, it's not only better for the environment, it's better for the communities, but it's also better for our bodies, because the food that you get and it's fresh from the field is rich in nutrients. Whereas if an apple was grown in Chile and it takes 3 months to your table, it's a different story.
Could you share a little bit of your immigration story?
I am originally from Latvia, which at the time, growing up, it was the Soviet Union. I came to US in the year of 2000. I came here on a student visa, and at some point for me to continue studies and work was unsustainable. So I was actually undocumented for 7 years, and then I got documents and was pardoned through a marriage.
And why did you come to America?
I always knew that I didn't want to live in Latvia, not because I don't love my country or my culture. It's just that society is very homogenous, and there was a lot of prejudice at the time, and I just didn't want to be in it. I always stayed in New York. I find it to be a fascinating place to live and to raise a family. Challenging, but nevertheless, it's a beautiful place to be. And I've been here for 22 years.
Since you've been here, a little over 20 years now, do you see a change happening in American attitudes towards environmental issues?
I absolutely do. And it's really, really nice to see, especially last 5 years. There's so much movement in both in the business sector and on activism and on an individual level of people just realizing that you can live with less. I think it's a shift in thinking, for sure.
Now, why do you think people choose to shop at stores like this?
I think there's a lot of people out there who want to make these environmentally conscious choices, but it's difficult. So I think us being a facilitator in this movement was welcomed very much in the community. Our first year was 2019, and we saw customers coming from far away.
What do you wish more people understood about environmental issues?
I think that there is a lot of pessimism when it comes to just thinking, okay, this environmental issues, they're so vast and there's nothing I can do as a person. And I'd like to see more shift towards thinking, okay, I am only me and I can make small changes in the way I shop, but it can also have a larger impact. And it's not just your loved ones looking at you and saying, hey, I can do this too. But it's also about just strength in numbers. It's one thing if one person does something perfectly, it's not going to have the same impact as many people doing some small changes.
Yeah, and I think we live in such an influential time where we don't always realize the power of one. So just building that awareness, you could go ahead and influence another person to make a complete life change. So what's next for the store?
Oh, it's actually very exciting. We just launched our delivery system, which is online, and then you place an order by 7 p.m. for next day delivery. Why are we different is we are delivering everything in reusable containers, which later on pick up. So therefore, we're creating a closed loop and eliminating waste altogether. So 26% of all things sent to landfill are actually food packaging. So I think it's a massive opportunity for companies like mine to change that and normalize this kind of shopping.
Okay, squad, I loved my time here at Precycle and hearing Katerina's story, how her migrating here led her to create this sustainable store. So if you're in Brooklyn or in New York, make sure to stop by Precycle and take a step forward into living your sustainable lifestyle. Back to you, Brad.
Oh, we're back to me already. All right, so we have some VIP questions from our Facebook group. I did it backwards. I'm supposed to ask the VIP questions first. I did it backwards, so my apologies to the VIP or the VIPs. But we do have 5 VIP questions from Facebook that are asked in the Brad Squad group. And if you ask your question in the Brad Squad group in advance, we will pick those 5 questions or 5 questions out to be asked on our show. Leona Brown from Facebook VIP. Can a person without a green card but has filed joint taxes jointly with her husband be a household sponsor along with his husband's salary for an affidavit support? Yes, you combine both of your incomes. Absolutely. Liza Lee Frater Dale, Facebook VIP. My husband sponsored me on his affidavit support. We filed taxes jointly, so his income amount has increased. Does it mean he's able to use the increased amount to sponsor his kids? Absolutely. Bojan and Zonzi from YouTube. Is it possible to change the H-2B visa to a green card? I answered all those questions. Oh, we only had 2 VIP questions today. All right, so let's go for speed round. Are we ready to do speed round? Are we ready? I think we will be ready for speed. All right, so I'm going to answer 10. I'm going to ask myself and answer 10 questions in 50 seconds or kabooey. Are we ready to go? I got to stretch here. Are we ready to go? On my count. Jill, are we ready? I hope so. 3, 2, 1, go. Do I need to have a certain income to file the I-140? Your employer needs a certain income to file the I-140. Can I file VAWA while my I-45 adjustment of status is pending? You can file a VAWA and convert your adjustment to a VAWA adjustment. Does someone over the age of 65 have to do a civics test for their naturalization? Not if you've been a resident for more than 20 years, you get an easier test. How long does it take to receive the receipt notice after filing the I-130? About 2 to 4 weeks. Is SSI for a U.S. citizen disabled child a public charge? No, it's not. Can an asylum seeker marry a U.S. citizen? Absolutely. Can I apply for prosecutorial discretion while on asylum? You can apply if you're in removal. Can a TPS holder who entered the United States uninspected and married a citizen adjust their status to lawful permanent resident? Absolutely. You can adjust your status. Waiting on my asylum since 2017. Should I sue the USCIS? Yes, you should at least threaten a mandamus if you have a winning case. How long to get an EAD and advance parole after filing for a VAWA? If you file an adjustment with the VAWA, it's about 6 to 9 months. There you got it. I did it. I think I did it. I think I did it. Yes, I did it. No balloons. Nothing. That's okay. I'll celebrate in my own head. Oh, we do have balloons. We do have balloons. Ah, the celebration. I did it. 10 immigration questions. I actually could have probably done it a little faster. There's the applause that I was waiting for. That's what I was. Oh, and now the music comes in. And now the music has come in. And let's see. Do we have any comments of the day? Comments of the day. All right, well, let's see what our comments of the day are. Cynthia Wallace, Brad, I've learned so much from you. Thanks a lot. Oh, that's really nice. Thank you very much, Cynthia. I appreciate it. Violet Blackwood, Uncle Brad, you are a blessing in disguise indeed. Ooh, thank you very much. I appreciate that as well. Thank you. Andre Anointed, destined for greatness. Congratulations, Stargirl Mika, and a job well done, Spar and Bernstein team. Thank you very much, Andre Anointed One. And those are all. Oh, we have more. Mika Hewitt, thank you for all. Congratulations, and thank you again. Spar and Bernstein, I love you all. That's Stargirl. Anybody else? Demba Sao, I didn't know how much I missed this show. Yes, I missed it too. Is that it all? I think so. Then I have to say goodbye. But it will not be a long goodbye. Not like our last goodbye that was long. It's going to be a goodbye for 1 week. We'll see you all back here next Monday, same time, same place. Thanks for watching. So, Sam, as part of the production, we have to say this disclaimer at the end of the show. Do you mind reading it for me?
Okay, but you know, Brad, I have to do everything around here.
Forget it. I'll do it. The proceeding was information only and not specific legal advice. Consult an attorney about your individual situation. Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. To make an appointment with the Spar and Bernstein law firm located at 225 Broadway in New York City, call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-529-5465. Easy to remember, 1-800-LAW-LINK. That's 1-800-LAWLINK. Once again, make a call to 1-800-529-5465. And of course, link up with the law offices of Spar and Bernstein, located at 225 Broadway on the 5th floor. If I were you out there, make the call, make the link, make the connection, make it Spar and Bernstein. 1-800-LAWLINK. That's 1-800-529-5465. And visit us now at our Connecticut office, 221 Main Street, Suite 501, Hartford, Connecticut. Visit us in Connecticut or in New York at 225 Broadway. That's 1-800-529-5465. 1-800-LAW-LINK, 1-800-529-5465.